Hollywood is well known for their big-budget movies, and for spending millions and millions of dollars to make them. But even with all of that money and crew behind a big movie, somewhere along the line, someone is gonna mess up. Sometimes it can be fixed, and sometimes it gets left under the assumption that no one's gonna notice. But we did notice. And with that in mind, here are 10 movie mistakes that ruined the scene. 1. American Sniper. This prop mistake takes you completely out of the scene. When you start to realise that Bradley Cooper in one of the scenes is holding his character's baby. Only that's not a baby, that's a doll. He's even moving its hand with his thumb. Yeah, that looks real. 2. Jurassic Park. Maybe before we were used to watching videos on computer screens, this one would have been harder to detect. But when Dennis Nedry's looking at the live camera feed, we can clearly see that this is actually a pre-recorded video. And we know this because there's the play bar. 3. Transformers: Age of Extinction. This one can be seen in the ending fight, where Mark Wahlberg runs in to help Optimus Prime. He gets shot at by Megatron, and maybe it's because the scene looked a bit bare or Mark Wahlberg just looked a bit lonely. But for some weird reason, suddenly a random guy appears out of nowhere and then gets wiped out by Megatron's blast, which leaves you scratching your head whilst watching the rest of the scene. 4. Quantum of Solace. In the scene where Bond sat on a motorbike in a bay in Hawaii, despite Daniel Craig's efforts to look all serious, look how serious he looks, the illusion is completely broken by this one extra who doesn't know how to use a broom.
Sweeping the road, I'm sweeping the road, I'm making sure I don't make any dust.
5. The Dark Knight Rises. When Batman and Catwoman decide to join forces for a rooftop round of fisticuffs, one background henchman gets so excited that he decides to drop to the ground before he's even hit. Either that or Bruce Wayne's got really long arms. 6. The Dark Knight Rises. Again. In another fight scene towards the end of the film, this henchman also decides that dropping to the ground without even being hit is the best option. I guess that way he gets saved from being punched in the face. Smart move. 7. Frozen. When Elsa's singing Frozen's flagship song, and you know the one I mean, there's something that's just off in the animation, as her hair seems to go through her shoulder, which completely defies the laws of physics, and so does her magic. Ridiculous. Just... Anyway. 8. The Last Samurai. In this scene we see Tom Cruise arriving on horseback to assemble his troops before battle, but he must have pressed the kick button on the horse because one of the troops receives a nasty blow to the family jewels. Ouch, I can't watch that scene without feeling the pain. Number 9. Gladiator. In a scene where a chariot loses a wheel, tips on its side and crashes, a curtain on the back comes undone and reveals something very modern, which looks like the gas canister rig that they used to flip the cart for the stunt. Either that or the chariot's got nitros. Wait, that makes even less sense. 10. Star Wars. This one's very well known among Star Wars fans, and it's the stormtrooper that hits his head on a Death Star doorway. Look at him go. Bonk. The mistake became so famous that George Lucas decided to add a sound effect in later releases. But we still can't help see it as a mistake they left in. Which one do you think was the biggest mistake of them all?
For your daily celeb fix, subscribe.